Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it's the core of true courage. It's the willingness to show up and be seen, even when we have no control over the outcome. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we expose parts of us that are raw and unpolished, but it's through this exposure that we experience deep, meaningful connection. Vulnerability doesn't mean being reckless or unprotected, but it does mean taking the risk of being authentic in a world that often values perfection and control. In our lives, vulnerability might look like admitting when we're struggling, asking for help, or speaking up about our emotions and experiences. It means choosing to love even when we risk heartbreak, or chasing a dream even when we might fail. But it's also through vulnerability that we create room for courage and growth. When we dare to be vulnerable, we also open ourselves up to learning, to resilience, and to transformation. The moment we accept vulnerability as a strength, we release the need for approval or acceptance from others. We give ourselves permission to live fully, to embrace our imperfections, and to walk through life with authenticity, no matter the judgment we might face. Imperfection is often seen as something to be avoided, a flaw to hide or correct. But in reality, it's our imperfections that make us uniquely human. They are not the things that diminish us, but rather the things that connect us. The moment we embrace imperfection, we free ourselves from the exhausting pressure of perfectionism. We stop trying to meet unrealistic standards and start honoring our authentic selves, complete with all our quirks, mistakes, and setbacks. Imperfection is the space where growth happens. It's where we learn, where we evolve, and where we build resilience. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we give others permission to do the same. We create a culture where vulnerability is valued and where being honest about our struggles isn't seen as a weakness, but as an invitation for connection. Embracing imperfection means showing up even when we don't have all the answers or when we're not at our best. It means acknowledging that our worth isn't tied to flawless achievements, but to the courage to try, to fall, and to rise again. In that space of imperfection, we discover true strength not in being perfect, but in being perfectly imperfect. Choosing courage over comfort is one of the most transformative decisions we can make in our lives. It's easy to stay in familiar, safe spaces where we know the outcome, where we can predict the reactions, and where the risk of failure feels minimal. Comfort is often our default, our coping mechanism when we feel vulnerable or uncertain. But true growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when we push ourselves into the unknown, when we choose to face discomfort head-on. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to move forward in spite of it. When we choose courage, we choose to be uncomfortable, to risk judgment, and to step into situations that challenge us. Whether it's speaking up when we're scared of being misunderstood, taking a leap in our careers, or having a difficult conversation with someone we care about, courage is the key that unlocks transformation. It's the moment when we choose to be authentic, to take action even when the path ahead feels unclear. Choosing courage over comfort doesn't mean being reckless, it means being willing to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. It's in these moments of courage that we find our true strength and discover the limitless possibilities that lie beyond the boundaries of comfort. Creating space for your own story means taking ownership of your narrative, even when others try to define you. We all have a unique journey, one filled with triumphs, failures, heartache, and joy. But too often, we allow the opinions of others, societal expectations, or past experiences to dictate how we see ourselves. When we let these external forces shape our story, we give away our power. Creating space for your own story means reclaiming that power and giving yourself permission to write your own chapters free from judgment and limitation. To truly honor your story, you must first acknowledge its value. Every part of you, the successes, the struggles, the moments of doubt, and the times of clarity holds meaning. These experiences shape who you are and who you're becoming. Allowing yourself the space to reflect, to express, and to share your story is an act of self-respect. It's also about resisting the urge to compare your journey to others. Your path is yours alone, and there is no blueprint for living an authentic life. Embrace your truth, even if it doesn't fit the mold or meet others' expectations. By creating space for your own story, you honor the person you are and the person you're becoming. True belonging is not about fitting in or seeking approval from others. It's about embracing who you are, even if that means standing alone. Often, we associate belonging with being accepted by a group, conforming to expectations, or blending in with the crowd. But real belonging comes from within. It is the deep sense of being comfortable in your own skin, knowing that your worth does not depend on external validation. To experience true belonging, we must first learn to belong to ourselves. This means being willing to stand firm in our beliefs, values, and authentic selves, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. It requires the courage to say no when everyone else says yes, to speak up when others remain silent, and to make decisions that align with our true purpose, regardless of outside pressure. When you stand alone, you may face criticism, judgment, or rejection. But this is the price of true freedom, the freedom to live in alignment with your values and to let go of the need to please others. When we stop seeking approval and stop molding ourselves to fit in, we create space for the right people, the ones who truly resonate with us, to find their way into our lives. True belonging is found when we are brave enough to stand alone and still feel deeply connected to who we are.